Hey, what's up everybody, it's Infinite here, and in this video, by the way, before starting off, I would like to apologize because I had uploaded this video saying that I'll upload the tutorial soon, but it's already been 11 months and I know, yeah, I'm still here making that, and finally it's out. So let's get started. And before starting, see that I just want you to know that this is a step-by-step tutorial, so obviously it will be a little lengthy than the others. So okay, so let's get started. Before starting, see that you download the project files. The link is in the description. It will be right here, and just download it. And also, before starting, I want you to install this plugin. It's called FX Console. So if you, I'll tell you later when we start. That is the time I'll tell you why it is useful. It's not a compulsion. If you want,
do it! Just do it!
you can install it, or you can continue without installing. This will just increase the speed in which you work in After Effects. So it's very simple to install. Just double click I agree, and you'll automatically see the version you are using listed here, and then just install it. I've already installed, so I won't install it again. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we'll do is we'll import all our files into After Effects. But before importing, if you open it, you'll see that there'll be these three things. Just remove this LUT for some time out of the folder. Just remove it out of the folder, because After Effects doesn't, you can't import LUTs in After Effects that way. So just, and another thing, if you try to import folder in After Effects directly, you'll get an error saying that, okay, let me just show you. You'll get an error saying that it cannot be imported, the folder contains no files, but it has some files. I don't know why After Effects behaves like that. So all you need to do is hold Alt while importing. So I'm holding the Alt key on my keyboard and just import it. Right there, we have it all organized and ready to go. Okay, so what we'll do is let's create a new composition out of a main footage. So here it will be right here beneath the footage folder. So select and drop on this little icon to create a new composition out of it. Right there. And also see that you are working on 32 bits per channel, because you'll get more precise color, and you'll get a lot more color range, especially when you're adding glow. So the glow, the effects will basically pop up more than you work in the 8 or 16 bits per channel. Now what I mean is, if you just click on it, you'll see this window pop up. From here, just select 32 bits per channel. Okay, and done. Click OK. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is we'll track our footage. So come up to the window and the tracker panel right here, and what I'll do, I'll just put it above, because I just need some space for my timeline. Select your layer and select track camera. It will take some time depending upon your PC. Don't worry, it will just take around 1 to 2 minutes. You can see the progress here right in the effects control panel. If you cannot see the effects control panel, just go under window and effect controls right here. So yeah, as you can see, the process is started. And another quick little tip, suppose you tend to close any of the window by mistakenly. Suppose I close the timeline. Now how do I get it back? I just want to get everything back to normal. So what you can do is, you can come up to the window and then workspace, and you can just reset the standard to saved layout, and then you will see that we have everything back in space as it was. Alright, I'll just close these panels because I don't need them. Okay, now our tracking is done, but I can't see anything. I can't see the tracking points. So to see the tracking points, just select the layer, and okay, I had closed the effects control panel, so I'll get it back right there. So select the layer and select the 3D camera tracker, and now you'll see a bunch of points all over the place. If you cannot see them, just increase the track point size. See that you have selected the layer and also the 3D camera tracker effect right there, and just increase the size if you can't see them properly. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is we'll set up a few tracking points for a sky, and also near the bus. So one in the background where our sky will be placed, and one in the foreground where we'll later replace the windows. By the way, if you wait 1 second, let me just import the final video so you'll get an idea how the workflow will be. Just hang on for a minute.
I play Pokemon Go. I play Pokemon Go every day.
Yes, so if you see, 1 second, see, this is the footage. Right now we have done the tracking. The next thing is to replace the sky. Yes, so to replace the sky, yes, we'll do that, but we need to set up the tracking points first, because later we need to attach our sky to the scene and we need to track it to the scene. Okay, so what I know, it will be a little confusing for you to understand in the beginning. Yes, it is, but as we proceed and as we make progress, you'll start to understand that why did we set up these tracking points. Okay, so just follow these steps in the beginning. So in the background you'll see a few points, so just select a few. So I'm just going to click and drag until the points turn out to be yellow, and now you'll see a red target area too. So just right click, create solid and camera. You'll see that we have a solid and a camera created automatically. So select the track solid one and hit R on your keyboard. Don't worry about these arrows if it's a little different. If you are using the older versions of After Effects, then they will be a little different. So I'm just going to use the rotation properties from here. So hit R on your keyboard. So we'll rotate solid so that the green arrow is facing up and the red arrow is facing at the right. The green arrow is your y-axis and the red arrow is the x-axis, so it should be aligned properly. So let me just align it somewhat right there, like that, and there. So red arrow is facing towards the right, green arrow is facing towards the top, and you'll see that it has been tracked, and it is basically sticking up there. Okay, so let's rename it to something like sky underscore track. Okay, and now what we'll do is, again, select the main footage, come to the effects control panel, select the 3D camera tracker until you see these points. We'll set up one more tracking this solid onto the bus, because later on we are going to put these windows too, and that, so we need to have a tracking point there. So just come here and just select a bunch of points like that, right click, create solid, and align this one too. So hit R on your keyboard, you'll get the rotation properties and just align it like that. If you play back, you'll see that this solid is basically tracked to a bus. What we can also do is to see this clearly. Okay, now remember I told you to install the plugin FX Console. Now what that does is, if you select the layer, hit Ctrl space on your keyboard, you'll get this search bar icon, and here you can search any of the effects that you need to add. Suppose now I need to add a grid effect, so I'll just search for grid, hit enter. Right there, you see how fast it is to work. Yeah, you can also use the effects and presets and search for the grid and add, but that's a little bit time consuming. Yeah, you can do that if you don't have any problem, but I'm going to use FX Console for now. So, see, again I'm going to show you. So suppose I need to add the curves effect to this layer, so I'll just hit Ctrl space, search for the curves effect and hit space, and there we have it. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So we'll continue with this. If you add a grid effect to the track solid, you'll have a better perspective and you can clearly see how things are aligning there. I think it's a pretty solid track right there. And also, yeah, before proceeding, see that you save the project, because if your project crashes, then you'll have to do it all over again. So for the time, I'm just going to save it on my desktop. You can save it anywhere you like. I'm just going to rename it to something like sky underscore men. Okay, so let's rename this track solid to hit enter to get the rename this thing option, and let's rename it to bus underscore track. Yes, and you can hide the grid effect for now. So we are done with these two, and what we'll do is we'll set up the final track that is somewhere around here. So because later on we are also going to add these fireflies right there, so we'll just set up one tracking point here. So just select a bunch of points only in the in front, not at the back, only in the front. So select right click, but this time create a null. So basically what you have is just a point sticking up onto the scene right there, and just rename it to something like foreground underscore track. Okay, so now we are done with the tracking button. You can hide these layers because we don't need to see them, and just put it back right there behind all of our layers, because it will simply take up space. And so now we are done with the boring part of the whole video. Yes, it was boring, so see that you guys are still active, and don't fall asleep, and drink water because that's really important. Okay, so how do we proceed now? Let's check the video. The first thing now is to replace this guy. Now there are many different ways that you can replace this guy, but I have used the most simple method here, which is using the extract effect. And I had tried with the other things too, but those were getting too heavy on my PC, and then things started to get slow. So here is how you do it. So select the main layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate, and rename it to something like foreground underscore main. Yes, and just drop the effect extract onto it. Extract, not the extractor but the extract effect. And now what we'll do is we'll just extract the white part of our scene. So for the current timing, what you can do is you can hide this bottom layer. Let's rename it to background underscore main, and just hide it for some time. And you take the foreground main and just extract, just pull these two dots right there, and you'll see that we are extracting this guy right away without much work. But here comes one problem. If you zoom in, you'll see that we still have this white part remaining to remove, but our bus is even extracting, because obviously the color is matching to our sky, these highlights are matching to our sky, and there's a problem here. So just don't worry about that, you just worry about removing all the white part of the sky. We'll fix this bus thing later. So just pull this until the sky is gone completely. Yeah, something like that. Don't worry about these parts, we'll remove them. But you'll see that if you turn on the transparency grid by clicking on this, you'll see that these parts have become transparent. Yes, that's what we need, but the ground, the road, and the part of the bus has also been transparent. So how do we fix that? What we can do is we can tell the extract effect, we can cut this footage into two parts. So we can draw a mask here, right here at the edge of the horizon and the ground, to like in between the separation. So somewhere here we can draw a mask excluding the bus, so that we can tell the extract layer you only affect the part above, not below. Yeah, don't be confused. I'm going to show you right away. So hide the extract effect for some time and select the pen tool, and see that you have selected the foreground main layer, and maximize your window by pressing the tilt key. So just hover over this window and press the tilt key on your keyboard, and you will be maximized. And by the way, if you need to pan around the window, just press space bar. You'll see that cursor turns into this hand, and you can pan around and work with it. So let's draw a very rough mask around the edge of this. So start off by something like that. But if you find masking difficult first of all, I would like to tell you it is not difficult. You just need to select. So what you'll do is just click and don't leave the click, just drag your mouse. You'll see this you'll get these handles to adjust them. So click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Okay, don't draw the mask on this white part, just draw it on the edge of the green part, something like that. Yep. So continue. Don't include the bus, so draw it something like that. So continue. It's a very rough mask, it doesn't need to be perfect. We are just telling the effect to separate, to just affect the part above which is covered by the mask. And once you are done, just come out and draw outside the layer, something like that. And now you'll see that our footage is cut into two. Where is the other footage? Now how can we fix that? Don't worry, if you just drop down this menu right here, come to the effects, extract, you'll see an option called compositing option. Just click on +1 and just select the mask 1 right there. And now if you turn on the extract effect, you will see that, wait 1 second, we are only affecting the part above, so only the part where the mask is drawn, not the part where below the mask. You see it's clear, nothing, the extract effect isn't affecting anything here. But if you try to pull this down, you'll see that there we go. So basically the mask has become like a little, what I would like to call it, like a shield, which is basically protecting the below layer to get affected. You see, if you pull it down, you can see it's getting affected. Yes, I hope you got the idea, right? But there is one problem again. We need to track our mask. Don't worry, it's a simple 3-step. We can do it in 3 steps. So if you see, in the beginning the mask is there, but as the footage moves, you will see that the track is still there, and we don't need that. It's here, it's fine, but here it moves out of place. See, moving slowly. So what we can do is we can simply add 2 keyframes in the beginning. So hit M on your keyboard until you see the mask path and click on the stopwatch icon. So here is the first keyframe. Now what you can do is you can go to the end of the timeline, and now many people are always confused with this. If you try, now go back to the selection tool or hit V on your keyboard to change this pen into a cursor, and now if you try to pull this point right there, you'll see that you are moving all the points. And it had also, I was also annoyed in the beginning when I was learning. I was like, I want to move only one point and all these points are coming. So don't worry about that. Hit Ctrl Z again. So just click out of the window. You'll see that the square points now turn into a circle. Now that's when you can select the individual points. So now you can select the individual points properly. So just move them at the edge, something like that. And don't worry about these, currently they're too rough, but we'll fix them too. Something like that, it's good. If you make a mistake, just undo it. Yeah, I think let's check. Yes, this is fine. Now what we'll do is, currently you'll see that we have all these rough edges right here. We'll just smoothen them out. So search for the effect key cleaner. So search for key cleaner right there, and now you'll see that they have become a lot more smooth than how it was before. And you can also search for the effect simple choker. This will be shit. Now what did I type? Simple checker, not checker, choker. Yeah. And you can just increase the amount a little bit. You'll see that it basically cuts off the edges, but not too much, because you will also tend to cut these edges. and just decrease the amount a little bit, that, and also decrease the, just play around with the key cleaner a little bit. Also you can extract it even more. Now it's not a problem because we have cut out our footage, so it won't affect the down part. So just extract it, and what you can do, you can pull this point, the down point, a little to the side, so to get some of the detail back. Yes, something like that. See, there we have it. And it's rough, but don't worry, we'll cover everything properly. Okay, so we are done with the first part, that is replacing the sky. Now what's the second part? The second part is to color correct our footage to match the sky. Okay, so if you come to the project panel and just come onto the assets videos, and just drop the sky underneath the foreground main. Right there, you'll see that we have a sky, and currently I'm just putting the sky, to color correct our footage based on I'm just referencing the sky to color correct our footage. So select the foreground main, hit Ctrl space and search for the effect curves. So drop it, and the first thing we'll do is we'll match the brightness of the sky to our scene. So we'll just decrease our brightness. So just select this point and get it down until we can match the brightness, something like that. And by the way, if you need to hide this mask, if you're just getting distracted by this mask, what you can do is you can hide this mask. Just click on this little button right here, there, and if suppose you need to get it back, just click it again. So right there. So we'll just get it down, something like that. Okay, and right there. And what we'll do is the next effect is hue and saturation. So search for hue and saturation, go to the green channel and just get this slider here so that it also picks up yellow, because green is not completely green, it's also a mixture of yellow. So just decrease the saturation right there, and also decrease the lightness. Lightness is nothing but it's just the brightness of the channel. Yeah, this looks good. Now if you just hide these two, here is the before and here is the after. Okay, cool. Now what we'll do, we'll add another curves to color match the sky to our scene. So search for the curves effect and go to the red channel. First of all, go to the green channel and decrease the green channel a little bit. And now go to the blue channel, because our scene the sky mostly comprises of blue. So come to the blue channel and increase it, something like that. And go to the red channel, you can decrease the red channel a little bit. Yes, yeah, I think this looks good. Yep, it does. By the way, if you can also always adjust these time to time when you want to see the timeline more or the composition. You can always adjust these even. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll just add some contrast back to our scene. So go to the RGB channel again on the curves and make a S curve, RGB, and make a S curve. So increase the brightness and just get the shadow part down, increase it, and just pull this point a little up so that our blacks are little, they are faded out. Yeah, I think this should do. So before and after. See, by just color grading and color matching, it made such a huge difference. Here is the before and here is the after. Alright, so the next thing we'll do is, as you can see right here, we had put a sky. Now we simply just didn't put a sky, we had tracked a sky to the scene. So what we'll do is currently just delete the sky layer, and now you'll see that we had created a track sky_track layer, right? So just hit Ctrl D and get it above everything. no, sorry, just get it above, below the foreground main. Enable it and just scale it up. If you try to scale it up right now, you'll see that it's very slow. And so what you can do is you can hold shift while scaling it. If you hold shift, it will scale up 10 times faster. And now just align it. So hit R on your keyboard and just align it properly. You will see that currently it's a little crooked. Something like that. And hit P and just get it at the side. Hold shift if you need to get it 10 times faster, and you can hit R and rotate it too until it fits your screen, something like that. Hit S again and scale it. Okay, so now if you play back, you'll see that we have this layer tracked and we all set to go. Now what we'll do is we'll just replace this layer with a sky layer. I told you replace. Now if you just try to put, you'll see that we are just basically creating another layer. So what you must do is you hold Alt on your keyboard, see that this layer is selected, hold Alt and click and just drop it on top of it. You'll see that now it has replaced, it has automatically turned out to be 3D layer and it's already tracked to our scene like that. And what we'll do is, the first thing, we'll scale our footage down. And by the way, if you just try to scale it down directly, you'll see that it doesn't scale, it just compresses. If you just select this point and try to scale it down, so you need to select this point, then hold shift and then scale it down, something like that. Or you can always scale it down from here even, that's not a problem. And we'll hit P and we'll move this on top, something like that, so that we can see these two little, what you can say, what can we call it, I don't know what to call, maybe nebulas, I'm not sure, whatever it is, but I just like them to be right there. So I'm just going to get it on top and even just align it to our scene. Yes, now it's tracked to our scene. Okay, so just rename it to sky. That's it, remove the track to sky. Yes, and now what we'll do is we'll duplicate our sky layer. So hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and what we'll do is we'll change the blending mode to add. If you can't see the mode right here, just hit F4 on your keyboard and you'll get it, or just toggle this switch right here and change the blending mode of the top layer to something like screen. And now what we'll do is we'll just scale this layer a little bit. So scale it, something like that, and right click, transform, flip horizontal. Now what we have done is basically you can also do one thing, just come to the sky layer, you'll see the Z axis right here. So just hold shift and push it down until it goes back in Z space, and then just scale it back again, hold shift while doing it. Now what I've done is I've basically created some, and you can decrease the opacity of the top layer to somewhere around. I have basically created some depth to our sky. Now you'll see, first it was like this, it's a plain sky. I have just added a layer on top and just flipped it horizontally, so that we have some extra detail going on. Now you'll see that we have this here, we have this here too, and it also brightens the sky a little bit. And you can always align the top layer to just randomize it, yeah, something like that. Or you can also change the blending mode to add. Yeah, change the blending mode to add, it seems much better than the screen. And you can always decrease or increase the opacity according to your liking. I'm going to keep it at somewhere around 60 or 70, and I'm also going to just align it. Yeah, so we are done with that. Now what we'll do is, don't worry about the glow, we'll add the glow later because it will take up the space. Yeah, what we had also done is, you'll see that we had added a layer of haze, kind of something like that, right here on top of it. So we'll do that. So just duplicate the sky layer, the main sky layer. So hit Ctrl D and get it on top. Okay, now what we'll do is add the tint effect, tint, and just hide this layer, the sky 3 layer, and just select the map black 2 and just select any color from the sky. And now if you enable the layer, you'll see that we have a solid right here. Now what we'll do is, to this solid, just hit S and scale it up until it fits the screen, something like that. And now hide it because we don't want to see it. Select the pen tool and just draw a mask. See that this layer is selected, just call it haze underscore foreground. Yes, something like that. And just draw a mask. Again, press the tilt key to maximize the window and just draw a mask in between these two edges or something like that. Don't worry about the bus. Yes, it will overlap the bus, but we'll fix it later. Something like that. It's a very rough mask. And now if you enable it, you'll see that we have something like that. So what you can do is just hit F on your keyboard to reveal the mask feather property and feather it out. You'll see that we have this kind of a haze layer on top, but what we need here is we don't want the bus to be affected by that. We need the haze layer to go behind the bus. So here is a little trick to do that. You remember we had tracked the bus layer. So what you'll do, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and just rename it to bus underscore roto, something like that. Hide the layer because we don't want to see it now, and see that this layer is selected, and just draw a mask over the bus, covering the bus, something like that. Yes, and now if you enable the layer, you'll see that we have a mask tracked to our scene, and yep, it's all good to go. And just feather it out by a little bit, something like 15 pixels, so that we don't have the hard edges. And also hit twice, select the layer, hit and just decrease the expansion and feather it out more. Yes, something like that. And now what we can do is, from the haze foreground we can change it to, you'll select the track matte. If you cannot see the track matte panel, just hit F4 on your keyboard and change it to alpha inverted matte. Now you'll see what we have done here is, one second, let me show you. Also save your project time to time. You'll see that here we are excluding the part by changing it to alpha inverted matte and drawing a mask. We are excluding the part from the bus, so the bus will be not affected by this layer. Okay, and see that you have done it correctly. So what I've done is, the bus roto, the layer is there, and see that the layer is hidden. It will automatically get hidden when you have changed it to alpha inverted matte. Okay, so the bus roto layer should be above the haze foreground, and just change it to alpha inverted matte, and there we have it. Now just feather it out, something like that. And also change the blending mode of the haze foreground to something like, yes, change the blending mode to darken. And also if you want, you can change the colors to, just keep a little lighter colors if you want. And you can also decrease the opacity of it a little bit. It's a very subtle effect, but it does affect a little bit. And also what we have, what I had done is, if you select the sky layer and just select the pen tool, select the sky layer, select the pen tool, and just draw a mask. Yeah, like that, a very rough mask. Something like that. Hit M on your keyboard and invert the mask and hit F and feather it out. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to fade this part a little bit. You'll see if I just increase the feather, it just turns out to be a little more black, like in the example right here. So just feather it out. I think I'll change the blending mode and keep the blending mode of the edge layer to normal. Okay, just feather this out. Same thing with the second sky too. Select the pen tool, draw a very rough mask, hit M on your keyboard, invert it, hit F and feather it out. Something like that. Yes, darken is fine, no problem. And you don't increase the feather much. I think we'll just keep it like 150, 200, something like that. Yeah, and what you can also do is select the haze foreground layer again, select these two and hit Ctrl D and just get it below the foreground main layer, so that one layer we have behind these two. And again just change the color to something else. And you can also increase or decrease the feather a little bit and increase the opacity of it. Hit T and increase the opacity. Okay, until now we have done a pretty good job. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll create a window. So these windows you see, so we'll create that. So come to the composition, new composition, and we'll set up a 1920 by 1080 composition, 25 frames, and let's keep it with a duration of 10 seconds. And let's rename it to something like Windows. And come to the assets under images, just drop the space texture right here and just scale it until it fits your screen. Search for the effect turbulent displacement and increase the amount a little bit and also the size to somewhere around like this, and we'll set up a simple animation to the evolution of it so that it animates time to time. So hold Alt and click on the stopwatch icon. You'll see a text box will appear right here. Just write the simple expression time times 40, and now if you play you'll see that we have this going on. Okay, and what you can do, you can also duplicate this. So select this and hit Ctrl D and change the blending mode to screen and just change this amount a little bit and also the size, and again hit EE and just change this number to something like 20. So we have two layers and make both of them 3D layers. So just come here and toggle the switch and just turn on this cube right here, and you can go now from here, just go to the top view, select the background layer and just pull it back in Z space, something like that. Come back to the active camera tracker and scale it up. And what I've done, I basically pushed that back to Z space, so that now if you notice we just get that 3D effect right here. Currently it's too overexposed, so what we'll do, we'll decrease the opacity of our first layer. So hit T and just decrease it and add in the curves effect and just get this thing down. Yep, something like that. Okay, and now go back to the project panel and you'll see this texture Milky Way. So just scale it down until it fits your screen. Again add the turbulent displacement effect, but this time we are going to increase the amount a lot and also this size a little bit, something like that. And just add a simple animation to the evolution. So hold Alt and stop on this and click on the stopwatch icon and add in an expression like time times 25 and change the blending mode to screen, so that we have this little more texture here. What I'll do, I think it's still too bright in the middle, so I'll add in a curves effect to a bottom layer and I'll just get it down, something like that. And what I had also done is I had also added this text effect here. So I'll just change the blending mode to add and just scale it up and just place it. I don't know, I just like this effect going on the screen. You must have seen in the example even. One second, let me show you. See right there, it looks cool, so why not? And now you'll see that the footage is too short, so it ends onto the 3-second mark. What we can do is just hit Ctrl D and get this thing here and just flip it or reverse it, time reverse layer, so that it's not the same throughout, something like that. Hit Ctrl D again and just move it at the side, and this time just scale it up or move the layer around, just randomize the layers. So we have this comp ready, and now what you can do is, remember the burst track again, yes, enable it and get it on top of everything, and hit S and scale it up until it fits this thing. Again, what we'll do, we'll just replace this layer with the Windows comp. So select this layer, hold Alt and drop the Windows composition on top of it right there, and now if you play, you'll see that we have it tracked to our scene. Now what we'll do is, we'll just hide this layer, the burst track, select the pen tool and change it to full res, and start drawing a mask so that covering all the windows. Okay, and see that it is a kind of perfect, because we don't want the windows to look weird. So I'm going to click and drag and draw the windows, something like that. Yes, so continue with the 4. The other I think there are 6 windows in total.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
And by the way, just ignore if I make any mistakes, because I'm still learning and I tend to make a lot of mistakes, so just ignore them. Or suppose if you find a better method to do things which I do, you can always let me know in the comments section, so that when I get to learn something from you guys. So I would love to learn if there are some other methods to do this, so let me know. And by the way, this is the 7th time that I'm recording this tutorial, because the other times I had tried, I literally made a lot of mistakes, and the tutorial went up to like 2.5 hours, which is too much. So I'm trying to reduce this time. So yeah, 7th time, no problem. I got to learn a lot too while making these, and it won't be the exact thing as I had done 11 months back. Obviously it will differ a lot, so yeah, just wanted you to tell that. And here, by the way, here there are 2 windows, so be careful with that. Don't draw it as a single window, or it may look a little bit weird. So continue drawing. You see here there is another window. Yes, now we are done with all the mask, and now you can enable the layer. You'll see that we have created a window, and if you go ahead, it should be tracked to the scene. Yeah, and what we'll do, we'll just feather these out by a little bit. So hit F on your keyboard, select all the masks, so click on the first layer, hold shift and come to the 6th mask, and just increase the feather to something like 3, so that it's a little bit smooth. Okay, so now we are done with that too. Now what we'll do is, we'll add some contrast to our sky, and we'll just color match it a little bit more. So hit Ctrl Alt Y to create a new adjustment layer, or you can just come in your layer, new adjustment layer, and just get it down beneath the foreground main layer. I'm just going to change the color to orange for this thing to be visible, because this is the main foreground layer. So just rename adjustment layer to something like CC and add in a curves effect and just get the S curve, not too much, just a little bit, and also add the hue and saturation effect, and come to the blue channel and just increase the hue a little bit, something like that. And also come to the red channel and I'm coming to my curves back and I'm just going to increase this a little bit. So here is the before and here the after, just adding a little bit contrast to our scene back there. Now come to the foreground layer, foreground main. We'll just change this curve a little bit more, something like that. Yes, and again hide the mask, we don't want to see that. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll add in our galaxy right there. So come to the galaxy dot, select this and drag it on top of everything, and what we'll do is we'll change this to a 3D layer and we'll still have the sky track thing, right? So get it on top. What we'll do is hold shift on your keyboard, see that you have turned this to a 3D layer, just hit F4 if you can see the panel and select this cube. This will turn out to be a 3D layer, and hold shift on your keyboard, select this pick whip tool and parent it to the sky underscore track. Now you'll see that we have a galaxy layer lying right here where the sky track layer was. It has basically copied all the properties of that layer. So hit S on your keyboard and scale it up and also align it. So hit R on your keyboard and just align it, something like that, and hit P and just get it into the center. Hold shift if you want to get it 10 times faster and just align it. Hit R and align it and also scale it, something like that, and again hit R. I'm going to tilt it upwards, somewhat like that. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll pre-comp our layer. So right click, pre-compose and leave all the attributes. Okay, name it like galaxy. Okay, now go double click to go into it. We'll basically create a mask and we'll feather it out. Let me show you. So click on it, long press and select the ellipse tool, select this layer, hold Ctrl and Shift and draw a mask, something like that. Hit F on the keyboard and feather it out. And what we'll do is we'll just hit V to come back to the selection tool and just select this point and get it on top, something like that. Just decrease the feathering a little bit. Come back to the main comp. You'll see that we have something like that. Now change the blending mode of it to add and also scale it up. Yeah, something like that. Scale it up a lot more. And I'm going to push it up a little bit. I think it needs a little bit scaling more, and also put it below the foreground main layer, not below the color correction layer but below the foreground layer, because if you try to scale it now it will be behind this layer, but if you just try to put it on top you'll see that it is now on top. So yeah, below the foreground layer and increase the size to something like that and just center it. Yes, and we'll also add a little animation because you'll see that in this example it was rotating, something like that. So hit R on a keyboard, add a rotation to the Z rotation add a keyframe, go to the end of the timeline and just increase the value to somewhere around 20. Now if you just play back, decrease the resolution, you'll see that we'll have it rotating. Don't increase the value too much because it will be too fast. I'm just increasing with the value of 20. See, in the beginning it's 0 and at the end it's 20. And we'll just color correct our galaxy layer to the sky. So add in a curves effect. First off, I'm going to decrease it. I'm going to the blue channel. I'll increase the blue channel. Going to the red. I'll just decrease this to the green. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and now what we'll do is we'll add some external rays to our galaxy. We didn't add it in our original example. So what we'll do is select the galaxy layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Don't worry about that. And what we'll do is we'll just right click, pre-compose, but this time move all the attributes into the new composition and select OK. I will see that our galaxy layer is messed up completely. Don't worry about this. Just toggle this switch, and here there will be an option called as it's called collapse transformation. So just select it and we are back there. Just add in a effect called as CC radial fast blur, and now you'll see that. Okay, just select this point and get it below, something like that, and change this to brightest. You'll see that we get some pretty good light rays, but it's too sharp and too bright. So first of all, change the blending mode to something like screen and increase the amount for now. Don't worry about that. Something like that. Yes, if you want you can keep it like that, but I'm not going to keep it the same because it looks a little bit odd. So what we'll do is we'll add in a curves effect to it, and we'll decrease the brightness first of all. Yeah, something like that. And these rays are currently too sharp right now, so we'll smoothen them out. So we'll add in a blur effect, something like a fast box blur, and just increase the amount a little bit, something like 1.8 or 2. Yeah, change it to 2.5. And we'll just color correct our rays layer 2. So come to the blue channel, increase the blue channel, come to the red channel, decrease the red channel a little bit, also the green channel, and after everything we'll add one more curves effect and we'll make a S curve out of it. Yeah, so you see here is the before and here is the after. It just adds a little more life to our scene. Yeah, this looks good. If you want, you can always increase the amount as per your liking. You can also keep it to appear like God rays, just get it down. If you don't want it to be sharp, you can hide the fast box blur. You can do stuff like that. Totally depends upon you. I think I'll just increase the rays a little bit more, and you can also decrease the opacity if you want. If you want it to be subtle, I'm just going to keep it that way. And I see that this middle part is too bright, so I'll just come back to the main galaxy layer and I'll just decrease the brightness a little bit. Yes, something like that. Okay, cool. Now what we'll do now? Okay, we'll add the glow to the window right there. So yes, if you check the original example, this glow looks beautiful, but this glow wasn't done using the inbuilt plugin. I had used a plugin called as Deep Glow, but don't worry about that. I'm not going to use this plugin. If you have, you can use it. I'm going to use the default inbuilt because I know that not every one of you might have it, but I'm just going to show you the output of it. So if you add in not on that layer, on our main Windows layer, where are you? Windows. I can't see the windows. Oh, I didn't rename it, so just rename it to Windows, and I'll just add in the effect deep glow. Okay, now if you try adding the glow effect, you'll see that it basically stays within this box. Now what you can do is we can pre-comp our layer. So right click, pre-compose our layer, move all the attributes, select OK. You'll see that things may mess up, but don't worry, just click this little icon to collapse the transformation. And now if you add the effect deep glow, there we have it. You see right off the back we have such a beautiful looking glow, beautiful right there, but it's a third-party plugin. But if you try to add the inbuilt glow effect, you will get something like that. But don't worry, we'll adjust it. So just decrease the threshold, decrease the intensity to something like 0.2 and increase the radius to somewhere around 38. Okay, now select this first glow, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and this time increase the radius a lot more, and also play around with the threshold to get a result that you like. I'm going to keep it to somewhere around 50. Keep the intensity same at 0.2, and at the last duplicate this again, but this time set the intensity to 0.1 and increase the radius a lot, and also increase the threshold. And what we'll do here is, yes, what you can also do is on the third glow layer, you can change the glow dimensions to horizontal. You'll get like this little streak. I think it looks pretty good. If you try to increase the radius, the streak will even increase. It just gives a sense of, I like this effect, but I'm not going to keep it a lot more. I'm just going to decrease it, but you can keep it if you like, and I am going to keep it. And what we'll do is, what if we try to change the color of our window to match the overall sky? Okay, let's try. So come back to the windows, search for the effect hue and saturation, and just try to change the hue. You can keep anything you like by just changing the hue of it. Yeah, see, we can keep it something like that, light blue, and you can decrease the lightness. Sorry, not the lightness, don't decrease it. Yeah, we can keep it. I don't know, or should we keep it violet? Okay, let's keep it somewhere around in between. Yeah. Okay, no problem. We'll keep it violet itself, and just come to the glow 2 and get the intensity back to 0.1. I think it has decreased, so let's get it back to 0.2 and increase the radius. Yes, so we have done the glow, and come back to the CC of the sky, which is beneath the galaxy, beneath the foreground main. Let's rename it to something like CC underscore sky. We'll change the hue of the sky a little bit more. Come to the blue channel, change it. Yeah, just change so that we get some violet shade in our sky too. Yes, that's pretty cool. The next thing what we'll do here is we'll add our fireflies. Okay, remember I told you to track this point right here. Yes, so get it on top of everything. Come to the project. Okay, before dropping it, just right click on our firefly footage and come to the interpret footage and main, and we'll just loop it because it's a very short footage. It's only of 1 second. So come down here, you'll see an option called a loop. So just enter a value like 10 and hit enter, and now you can drop it right there and change this to a 3D layer. And what we'll do the same thing. Hold shift on a keyboard, select this pick whip tool and parent it to the foreground underscore track, and we'll have a layer right there. Don't worry about its alignment, we'll do it. So hit R on your keyboard and align it and change the blending mode to add. Just align it and scale it down, something like that, so that we have a few of the fireflies right there. What you can do is you can hit Ctrl D, duplicate it, just offset them and offset the layer to right here, and just transform, flip, just make them look random. Also scale it down if you need. You can hit Ctrl D again, just move them, increase the scale, offset it again, so that we have a bunch of them right there. Sorry. And it's tracked to our scene because we have tracked it to our layer. And don't forget to save your project time to time. You change this too. And you can also color correct your firefly if you want to. So you can add in an effect like tint, and you can just tint them down if their saturation is too much, or just change the color to something more like orange. So just map white to orange and just tint them. Hit Ctrl C and just copy paste it, Ctrl V on the other layer. And what you can do is just hit Ctrl D on these two and just get it on the side. And again just randomize them. And maybe from here we can increase the scale for them to appear a little bit more close to a camera, something like that, if you need. Okay, I think I'll just get them at the side like that, and these ones I think I'll just select all three. Okay, this looks good. And about the headlight, about the headlight, yes, and there's one more little trick that I want to show. If you come to the windows, if you hit Ctrl D and just change the blending mode to screen, not screen, get it back to normal, and add the effect CC radial fast blur. What you can do is you can select this point and get it down, and you can increase the amount of these two, so you'll get some rays coming out of the windows too, only if you need. This is an external step if you want to do. And you can change the blending mode to screen, and you can decrease the opacity of it. See, so we'll have something like that. Okay, only if you need. And if you're doing that ray, then there's no need of this horizontal ray, so we can go back to the glow 3 and we can change this to horizontal and vertical. So we have something like that. You can do that, but I'm just going to keep it the way that was. Okay, yeah. So the headlight, it was pretty simple. What we'll do here is come to the bg_main, the last layer, select on the 3D camera tracker. We still have our data, so just select a few points on a bus, not layout but only on a bus. Right click, create solid. So we will see that we have a solid tracked onto a scene. What I had done was I had just scaled this layer to fit, something like that, and hide this layer for some time. Okay, and see that the layer is selected. Just rename it to headlight, and I had simply drawn a mask just to replicate the light. Something like that. I know it's silly, but I had done that because I felt that this was the simplest to do. I'll just get it back, add a tint effect, and change the map white to something like orange. And I've changed the blending mode to something like pin light. I don't remember, pin light or hard mix. No, it wasn't hard. It was pin light. Hit F. I had feathered it out and it was yellow. and I had to decrease the opacity a little bit. Yeah, it's subtle, but yeah, I think I'll just increase. No, it's a bit much and it's a bit yellow. I'm just going to get it down, and also add in a curves effect to increase some contrast to a light. Not that, and decrease the opacity. Something like that I had done. You get the idea, right? So just mess up with the colors of it. I don't know, I'm not getting the right one now, but yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember, was it, or did I just change the blending mode to something else? Let's try it out. By the way, if you want to shuffle between blending modes, you can just hit the shift and plus key. Like that you can shuffle between the blending modes. So let us check which one looks better. I think screen. Let's check. Yeah, I think it was screen and the color was something like that. Okay, cool. So we have a headlight too, and I had just added some flicker a little bit, you know. See, if you see, I had done this like it flickers. So it's a simple thing, just hit T on a keyboard right there, go to the next frame, hit the page down key on your keyboard, it will go one frame forward, and page up goes one frame like back. So just add some flicker like that in between. If we just play it back, and by what you can do is, if you want to, I'll just increase the timing in between all the keyframes. So select everything, hold Alt and just drag the first keyframe. You'll see all the keyframes, they align automatically, and we have this flicker going on. So just Control C and Control V. You get the idea, right, what I'm trying to do. It's fairly simple. And what we'll do is we'll create a new adjustment layer. So hit Control Alt by and rename it to CC. Add in a curves effect. This is the overall color grade on top of everything. So add in a curves effect and increase some contrast. Make a S curve, something like that. Pull this point on top, and also add the unsharp mask effect. Increase the value to 15, 30. Unsharp mask basically sharpens everything on the scene. And at the end, what you can do, you can add in one final adjustment layer and drop in the LUT that I have given you. So add apply color LUT, go to the desktop and apply that, and just decrease the opacity, hit T and decrease the opacity. It will basically blend in everything. Yes, something like that. Yep, there we have it. So just render it out once. I think it looks good. If it's too dark, then you can just increase the brightness a little bit, decrease the contrast of the curves, and you can always play around with the LUT, decrease the opacity until you find that sweet spot. And you see the text that we had added onto the galaxy, how it's reflecting here. It flickers, which looks good. So yeah, we are done with it. I hope that you guys learned something new from it. I know it was lengthy, but I think it was worth it. And yeah, you can definitely share these on social media, and don't forget to tag me, because I would love to give some feedback onto, I would love to see what you guys create out of it. Or you can always, use it, you can always use the same techniques to do something else. Alright, so I hope that you guys learned something new from it. If you did, then consider subscribing, and
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I'll see you next time. Bye bye. And also, don't forget to drink water. Okay, but that's really important. Okay, bye bye.
Fight back. Won't really fucking fight back.